So, good morning, everybody. We're looking at Second Samuel 10. Um, I thought I remembered. First Chronicles, I think 19. Check the title just in case I'm wrong, and Psalm 20. And here we see that David was drawn into a battle. Even when David is trying to do good, he gets drawn into a battle. He wanted to honor this kingdom. Uh, the king had died of the kingdom, and David sent his emissaries there to honor um, the passing of this king and to honor the son who had been put in place. And and the son was given some really bad advice, and he ended up insulting David's emissaries. And it drew David into this war that David didn't want. There was no call for it. There's no reason whatsoever. Here, David is just trying to be a nice neighbor to honor, and he ends up in a fight. And I wouldn't want to fight against David. It's as simple as that. The Lord's on his side. So David sent Joab. Joab went. He This other kingdom hired on a whole bunch of people. They had to fight on two fronts. They defeated them. They didn't pursue them like they usually do. They just defeated them and went home. And then that kingdom regrouped and decided to attack a second time. And the reason they were attacking because they knew they offended David, and so they decided to take the fight to David instead of waiting for David to come to them. So David took the command of the army this time, and he went, and he soundly defeated them. It wasn't a slaughter or anything. He didn't chase them down. He didn't slaughter them to the last man. He didn't burn down their cities or anything of the sort like they usually do. It was enough to beat them, and David went home. Because David was not really a man of violence. It wasn't something that he lived for. So he did what he had to do, and he went home. And and we see here that David doesn't turn around and take credit for this himself. He doesn't turn around and say, what a good king I am. Look how mighty my army is. Nothing of the sort. David turns around and he credits Yahweh. As he should. He credits Yahweh. We have this victory because of him. Thank you, Yahweh. And he praises him, and he offers him praise and thanksgiving and everything else, because David knows this isn't because of the size of his army. This isn't because of his wisdom. It's not because of his battle tactics. It's because Yahweh gave them the victory for this. And this is shown in David's life again and again and again. David doesn't want to fight, but he'll fight when he has to fight. He fights because of the protection of his people, of the kingdom, the expansion where he has to expand, where the Lord tells him to expand. It was always by direction. And but at the end of it, David is not willing to take any credit for this. Because this is all in the hands of the Lord, is really what he's looking at. He says, I've done this. I've done this because I was instructed to do this. I did this because this is my duty to do this. But all the victory belongs to Yahweh. And that's how you walk humbly before the Lord. When you don't take any credit for yourself, and that you know this is such a blessing to be involved with this. It's such a blessing to see this happen. I'm glad I'm involved with this. But this is all from the Lord. This is all from him. And that's the attitude that we're supposed to walk before him in. And when we do that, then he can trust us with things. He can trust us with the places he wants to take us, because he gets to have the glory, and we recognize him, and we don't take it upon ourselves. It's the reason why Moses got in trouble before going into the promised land. Is because all the way along, everybody knew it wasn't Moses that was doing this, but it was the Lord directing him, and Moses was carrying out. But in this one case with this, Moses was just so frustrated with the people that he didn't speak to the rock as the Lord had told him to do. He showboated. He took his staff and he struck the rock in great dramatic form. And Moses wasn't walking humbly before the Lord in that case. And that disqualified him from going in. I'm so glad we don't live in that age of instant judgment, that now we live in this age of grace, and that we're covered by the blood of the Lamb, and that Jesus paid the price for it all. Because I can only imagine the things that I would be denied, because at times we get in the way. And Father's very patient with us now. So just something to keep in mind. Again, how are we walking? Who is getting the credit for everything? And do we understand the victory comes from Him? You guys be blessed, be encouraged. Love you all.